Hello, I'm Simon Banger and I am the founder of the charity event Carping for Heroes. So Carping for Heroes was founded back in 2010. It's a charitable event that raises money for our armed forces charities Help for Heroes, Combat Stress and the angling project Forces C.A.R.P. So the event is run over 48 hours, over a weekend. And on the Friday night we have a huge social gathering where we have live bands, live entertainment, an auction. Basically everybody gets together and has a good shindig basically. Then on the Saturday, that's when the match starts, over 24 hours and finishes on the Sunday. Later on the day on the Saturday as well, we also do a Q&A session with some angling celebrities. We have a couple of trade stands each year coming down as well that support the event, which is fantastic. And we have a huge raffle. The guys as well also get sponsorship, and this year alone, one individual has raised almost £1,000 just through sponsorship. So it just goes to show the level of support that this event gets. But not only that, obviously the support from the carp angling industry for our men and women of the armed forces that have become wounded, injured and sick. So Carping for Heroes is in its 6th year, and over that time we have raised over £40,000, which is an absolutely monumental effort. However, what we also want to do is try and expand that and keep going and keep raising as much money as we can. One of the biggest things at the moment, especially with our military charities, is that now that things like Afghanistan and Iraq have ended, they disappear out the media as well, and as a result of that, without the media focus on the military being out at war, as it were, so does the focus on the charities. And what you have to remember is the guys and girls that become injured, not just as a result of war, but also on exercises and just during the normal work, need that support for life. You know, they didn't just get injured in that war, they got injured, they need the recovery, and they will then need that support for a lifetime. So we will keep going for as long as those girls and guys, or as long as we can, so that we can raise as much money for these guys and girls that do need that support for life. And that's what we're trying to aim with Carping for Heroes.
Which British female artist headlined the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury in 2016? Robin Fenty is better known as who? Well done, guys! Up next then we have 40 hours for 2 at the Linear Complex. So £80, 90. So we've got £90, £100, 121 at the Deaf. Going once, twice, sold. Craig, it's yours.
Carping for Heroes. I believe I've had the first fish of the tournament, coming at £15.4, taking just under the surface on a little zig. So I'm well pleased with this. Let's hope there's more to come.
All right, mate.
Oh, it's a double anyway, mate, so that's the main thing.
£10, 14, 15,
10,
10,
15.
15.
Yep, 10, 15.
Yep.
Smile. That's it. So I'm joined by Gareth and Luke, Carping for Heroes. So lads, tell us why you're fishing it and why it's important to you.
Well, I served 13 years with the Royal Logistics Corps.
Yeah.
I came out in 2010. It's a really worthy cause, Help for Heroes. It's helped a lot of friends of mine, ex-military friends, helped a lot of people that I've met through the charity. So yeah, really good cause in my opinion.
Of course it is. I mean, it's fantastic what Simon has done, and he's raising a lot of money, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I know prior to this starting we'd raised over 35,000 over the years. So yeah, really, really good total. And hopefully this year another 10,000 on top of that again.
And we've had beautiful weather.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
We all look like lobsters.
Yeah.
Certainly do.
But
yeah.
the problem is, it's affected the fishing, hasn't it? The fishing hasn't been that great, has it?
Yeah, it was all right this morning, then slowed off a little bit over lunchtime as you would expect. Hopefully now we've had a bit of a break, the water's had a bit of a rest, so we should be able to get something on the...
But you're on the scoreboard, aren't you?
We're currently sitting second as a
We
pair,
are seconds, yeah.
and the MPGS team, we are top of the table at the moment.
So Luke, tell us a little bit about your carp fishing.
Basically, my dad carp fishes, and he taught me from a young age, and I had to work my way up through the ranks, starting with a float rod and bread flake and everything like that, and it just progressed from there really. Started finding myself trying to fish slightly bigger waters for bigger fish, and just moving up the chain and progressing.
Progressing, yeah.
And now I find myself fishing quite hard waters with low stock, and that's the fishing that I enjoy.
So-
not necessarily catching all the time, but
Just getting out there and chilling out as well.
Yeah,
It's the whole
exactly.
experience of carp fishing,
exactly,
isn't it? That's good for
exactly, yeah. It's not always about the catching.
you. No, it's
Sometimes.
about being there as well, isn't it?
About being outside nature. You get all the different fly hatches and the birds and stuff. It's
It's the whole
a wonderful
package.
experience. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and so is this the first match you fished, or do you regularly fish matches?
I've fished this twice now. This is my second year on this. I don't tend to do any other matches. Mainly for myself, it's just I don't really fancy the competitive side.
Yeah.
I find it would detract from what my angling is.
Yeah,
And I don't know how yourself.
There's pressure involved with matches, obviously, in competitions. Even though it's charity, we all want to win. We all want to try.
Get that competitive edge, don't you?
Of course. So I don't do any other match fishing apart from the stuff for this charity, and that's all I do. Sorry.
That's fine. There's fish moving behind us, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no. Apart from this is all the match fishing I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy this just because it's a great social, great lads, great charity.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing what they do. Like you say,
Certainly is.
Simon, amazing guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing guy. What he does. Take me out off to him. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it takes some organising.
It really does. It really does, and he does a fantastic job of it. Everything's down to a T. So fair play to him.
We'll keep plugging away, lads, and let's hope you have another fish.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
very
it.
much.
You join me here with Mick Cockton. Mick runs the British Carp Cups. It's a fishing competition where pairs of anglers compete against each other. Mick, why are you supporting Help for Heroes this weekend?
I just think it's a good cause, and I don't think that people do enough for the armed forces really, and I think anything anybody can do outside over and above what the government and everybody else does. It's got to be good for it.
I know that you support them via your competition. Also, you have pairs of the guys also enter into the competitions to try their luck against the more well-known anglers, should we say?
They do, yeah. Unfortunately, up to now, the Forces guys or ex-Forces guys haven't done too well. They have qualified for the finals, but they've not actually won anything yet.
No, that's all down to luck. Where you come out in the draw can play a big part in that.
Definitely.
We see that you're here today. You're surface fishing for some of these tricky carp in awkward hot conditions.
Really difficult conditions. It was so hot earlier. I had no choice but to get in the water.
But you have an ace up your sleeve, and that will be your fishing partner.
Definitely.
Who's your fishing partner, Mick?
Miranda Brown.
Miranda is Ladies Team England, so we shall head over to Miranda for a quick chat. So Miranda, you have the privilege of being the partner of Mick Coxon. You must be over the moon with that.
I'm chuffed to bits. Who wouldn't want to partner Mick?
But then, you are the backbone of this team. You are Ladies Team England.
It seems so, yeah. It does seem that way, if he does as he's told.
I hope you're listening to that, Mick. Miranda, we're here for a special cause this weekend, and it's the Carping for Heroes.
It certainly is, yeah.
What is your military background and your inspiration for these guys that are here fishing with us at this lake today?
So I was with Remy when I left school for 4.5 years, as a vehicle mechanic.
Brilliant.
So came out in 91, 92, and I'm here for that purpose really, because I've got a lot of friends in other areas of the military that I support as well, and just like Mick said earlier, there's not enough done for the injured soldiers, and I'm just doing my bit.
Well, Miranda, it's good to have somebody from the military background that's also gone on to international fishing with the Team England, so we wish you the best of luck on your fishing adventures, and also for supporting these guys here this weekend.
Brilliant, yeah.
So I found a familiar face, Daniel Holliday, reigning British Carp Cup champion. We're at Carping for Heroes. You having a good time?
Yeah, it's a fantastic weekend, to be honest.
It's all for a good cause, and we're all having a bit of a laugh, aren't we?
Yeah, it's nice to see all the lads come together and enjoy themselves, you know.
So what have you done since you won the British Carp Cups? Anything special?
Not really, you know. Staying with the family a bit more.
It took it out of you, to be fair, didn't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
I remember seeing when this man won it, he was absolutely shattered, and it was a great occasion, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic competition, you know, and to win it, I was just over the moon.
I bet you was. So why are you here then, Dan? Have you got a military background?
Yeah, I've done my time, you know, and I've still got a few friends that are serving, and it's, you know, this weekend's just to help and support the lads that need it, really.
And to raise a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, would you believe it, I bumped into another British Carp Cup champion. Just along the bank from Daniel Holliday, we have Phil Higgins. Good evening, Phil.
Evening.
So, tell us why you're here at this wonderful event that Simon is running.
Well, I've just come to support the cause, really. It's a really good event. We're raising a lot of money to help the heroes, and it's just a really good event, really good banter. There's been like really good music on the Friday. Everyone's really nice. Food, drink. It's just really good fun, and anyone can come down here. It's really good.
That's right. It's not just for the military people. It's anybody can come. You don't have to be military related. You can support those that are, or if you just want to have a good time. These are the events that these guys really need your support. And your partner is ex-military.
That's right.
So he's got the privilege of fishing with you for this weekend.
Yeah, but we're blanking, so it's not good at the minute.
It happens to the best of them, Phil. But let's hope you get a fish or two.
Okay, no problem.
Arabian or French 70.
Why do people say things they don't want to say the wrong thing? You want to go? You do that French stuff.
What's just, you know, what would mean more to you, holding a lovely English 40 or a big French 70? You know what I'm trying to say?
I'll start it then, because Brian said something earlier on. I don't understand why people don't want to go and catch a and I think I can go tumble all that back to this 6-year-old kid reading Walker's book and what my perception of what carp fishing should be. It should be a challenge. It isn't that anymore. The easiest fish to catch probably on the face of this planet is a carp. End of story. It is because they ram them into waters, and unless you're fishing over there, and believe me, I have fished over there, and I know how hard it is. But there are waters you can go to, you get and want to chuck, and to me, that isn't what carp fishing is. But that's my perception of it. For me, carp fishing is the thrill of the chase. But yeah, I'd rather catch an English 20-pounder than a 100-pounder abroad. Oh, I don't know, it's a personal thing, innit? A big fish to me, I don't go chasing 50-pounders around. I've caught a carp load for what it is, but if I chase a big fish and invest the time that I want to in that fish, I want it to mean something to me. I don't want it to mean anything to you, or you, or you. I want it to mean something to me. And unfortunately, I disagree with Brian, as we'll probably disagree on a million things. Those people want to do it because it gets their ego massaged. End of story. Only my opinion, of course.
I honestly don't know. Over the years, I've targeted individual fish abroad and in this country, and it's exactly what you said. It's the thrill of the individual chase, and there are 1 or 2 fish I would dearly love to catch in this country. One of the no publicity waters I fish has a fishing net I've been trying now for about 10 years. I've had all its mates and everything else, and this one evaded, and I just want to keep going back for that. So at the moment, if I got that, that would be the highlight of my season without doubt. But I've already had 3 fish bigger than that. It just happens to be the one at the moment that I've got my head into. I've had 2 trips to France in the last month. The first one was to a runs water, and I think I had 14 fish in one day to 34 pounds. I was totally chilled out, bottle of wine with the missus, sat there and everything else. Thoroughly enjoyed it. 2 weeks later I was back on a different water where a fish in the week was an achievement. I had 2, totally over the moon, but one was a 47, one was a 50. And the resident bailiff said, "You've been really unlucky, you've had 2 of the smaller fish." You know, but I was totally over the moon because the target for that week was to sort of like match
a fish.
Yeah. You know, and like 3 days in, when that rod went, and I'm stood there, and I mean, temperatures weren't far off this, mozzied to hell and everything else. When I netted that, I had to stop for 2 or 3 minutes because I was quivering, and yet I knew it wasn't one of the big ones. I can go to France and fish for a wacko and come back the following week and have £5 line on or whatever and a single grain of corn and be float fishing in the margin. You know. So in truth, I actually.
We all think of it differently, don't we?
Yeah, I just don't know.
I mean, my biggest fish I caught at Rainbow Lake. My personal best I caught in this country, and that's just the way that I view it personally.
What's the most cherished moment you've both had in fishing? If you could single one moment that you could go to your grave and think, that was a brilliant time I've had fishing, and what you could fish.
Yeah, do I sit here and talk about a fish that I've caught? Do I sit here and talk about people that I've fished with? Brian mentioned Kevin Green earlier on, and one of the most special things when looking back on it, and you don't at the time, and probably wouldn't if he was still alive, was spending time with a guy like that. God, I really, it's such a difficult question to say. I took a young lad fishing a few years ago who was struck with juvenile arthritis, and I have never seen anybody had to suffer that much pain in all of my life. we went round and on the blue ball was, and I baited a couple of spots, and he got a ring in there. And watching this guy playing a carp and landing it and insisting that I didn't help him was enough to break your heart to watch him doing it. But I think the greatest thing for me is that I've got the strength in my body to go carp fishing, and the fact that, you know, I'm sat here amongst a group of guys that have put their neck on the line for the country that I love so much, and for me that is as special as it gets. So thank you, gentlemen.
This is going to make me sound like a right soft sod, but the two are linked together. Many years ago now, when he was about 12, my lad Martin, who's also now into fishing, started to want to go fishing with me, and I gradually started taking him fishing. We did all different species and whatever, and eventually we ended up on a lake in France called Etang de la Hall. By then he was about 18, 19, just off to uni and whatever, and we sat there one night. We had this night's fishing where we both at the time had PBs. He had a PB common, which was 46, and I had a PB mirror, which was 51. And they were consecutive takes that we had. And we sat there all night, and at 4:30 in the morning, we sat on the front of the staging there, hot, sweaty, been up all night with these two fish, lots of damp stuff around us, covered in slime and all the rest. And we sat there with a 1664 each, and he turns and he says, "Dad, you're not like a dad to me, you're more like a mate." And fishing had done that, because it had given us the opportunity to sit there together so often, and it was just magic. And I look back at him, I can still picture him sat there saying that, and it was brilliant. And the other one still links to Martin as well, and Chili will really relate to this. He did very well on Ashland. He caught quite a lot of fish, but he never got the big one. And I'm at home one night, sat there at 8 o'clock, phone, my mobile goes, I picks it up, and there's this quivering voice on the end that says, "I'm sat in the margins at Ashmead because I can't stand up." That's all he said. I just said, "You've had single, haven't you?" And he says, "Yes," and my legs are gone. I'm waiting for someone to come and help me out of the water. Those things like that just live with you. And in terms of my own, where do I want to go? I just want to carry on fishing. I'm already designing a Zimmer frame with clips for my buzzers and whatever on it. And I've said to Martin as well, I said, it's going to be payback time in years to come, because all I want you to do is come to the old folks home, pick me up, and wheel me to a swim and give me an afternoon's fishing. Because that's my ambition, just to carry on doing it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So, Chili.
Yeah, £12.11 ounce. I've weighed that many. I've weighed that many. I've got a rough idea.
That's big gudgeon for you.
Well done, dude. Smile, boys.
Kept it a little bit too long.
Yeah, you lingered that, didn't you?
Oh, I needed that.
£10, 8 ounces.
Happy days, 10-8.
Yeah.
Glad to catch a fish in my life. Don't it hold it out to the camera?
Have it.
Yes.
I'll be with you 2 seconds.
Goodbye. Happy days.
So, Carping for Heroes, and we're on the Carp Lake. I'm joined by Craig and Mark. Enjoying yourself, lads?
Yeah, loving it. It's been good, yeah. It's always good. It's always a good time to come down. A few beers, try and catch some fish. And but mainly because it's for a good cause, like.
It's for a really good cause. Carping for Heroes. So who are you representing?
We're with the MPGS.
Yeah, and you're the team captain?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 3 years now, so I'm still not caught anything.
So you're the glutton for punishment, keep coming back for more, yeah?
Yeah.
So the fishing's been a bit slow, but it's the weather, isn't it? It's been so hot, hasn't it?
Yeah. Tried everything, zigs, dog biscuits, but they're just not having it.
They're not having it. It's just fishing for you, isn't it? You can't sort of will them to the hook, unfortunately, can you?
That's true, that's true.
So this event, it's a great cause.
Yep.
It's raised a lot of money. It's hats off to Simon, really, for organising it all, isn't it?
Yeah, he does it every year. It seems like a thankless task for him, to be honest, but he does such a good job, and I'm sure he'll continue doing it for a few more years.
So Mark, what does this charity mean to you?
This charity means a lot to me. I've got some friends that have been injured in combat and that, and just like to help benefit their lives, basically.
And it certainly does that, and it's all about raising the money, isn't it, and helping these guys.
It's not about catching a fish. I mean, if you get fish, you get fish. If you don't, then it's a good cause, and it's been a good weekend, really.
And all the lads have had a great time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joined in Section 7, Peg 4 by Alfie. Alfie's part of the RAF. Alfie, tell us your story. We see that you've had a few fish.
Yeah, I've had 4 fish so far. 3 different methods on them, really. We've been having loads of fish out the front of us, all on the top. They've been really difficult to catch, and they're just not in a feeding mode, as you've probably found from walking around the place. There's loads of fish on the top, but they just don't look like they're actually feeding. So. No, we had one on a zig yesterday, early doors, but then it just went really quiet for the rest of yesterday, and then I had one last night on the bottom, just in this corner behind me. That was just on a solid bag, and then this morning again we've woke up, all the fish are back up on the top. So I've just put a plastic fly on, and just thought I'm just going to ring the changes and try and see if I can pick another couple off, and thankfully it's worked so far. So yeah, I've got another couple this morning. So
you must be really pleased. Persistence has paid off.
Yeah,
varying your tactics
to
try and catch the carp in the different situations that present yourself.
And that's what these matches are all about. You know, competitive angling as such is about, you know, ringing the changes and just making sure you've got something different. If something's not working, you can just change onto something else and just try something a little bit different. And
some people don't take the matches quite as seriously. I mean,
No.
some of them are having it there for the laugh and the social side. I mean, it is for the calls, but at the same time, you still want to catch fish.
Of course you do. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, yeah, we're here to raise money for a great cause and try and make as much money in that sense as we can for Combat Stress and Help for Heroes. And yeah, I mean, it is a good social weekend. I mean, the swims themselves put themselves for a good social. You know, they're all quite close together, so everyone can have a good old chat and a chin wag and catch up with people that I've not seen for maybe a couple of years or what have you. So yeah, it's a really good event, and we really fully support it. You know.
Carping4Heroes 2016, really pretty linear. Had off the bottom, whereas everybody's else is on the top on sticky krill. So yeah, it's 4th fish so far as well.
An £11, 14 ounces.
£11 14. I'll settle for that.
So we're here at Carping for Heroes, and I've been joined by Mark from Carp Radio. Mark,
hi.
Why are you here?
Well, I got to know Simon through a number of the carp shows, and we had the discussions at the Northern Angling Show, and we just basically said, you know, what you're doing, what you guys sort of doing as regards this year's summer show and so forth, and he obviously told us about what they've been doing down here, and we wanted to come down and see what was going on.
So you're going to have a chat with some of the anglers and some of the key organisers of the event?
Yeah, the idea being was, Simon said, look, just come down, wander around, feel free, floor's yours, interview who you like, which I thought was great.
Yep.
Sort of get an idea of the mood of the place. We found it to be, I mean, to be fair, we've been here all day and it's been really good. It's a nice atmosphere, it's very relaxed. And more important, it's for a really good cause. So we thought, we want to get involved in this somehow, however we can do it. So yeah, this is why we're here today, to basically cover the event, and then we're going to put a show together on the radio next week, basically backing these guys up, and we're going to continue to do that. It's going to be something that we're going to keep revisiting.
That's good news.
It's one of our chances now.
If people want to listen to Carp Radio, how can they do that?
It's easy, Carp Radio. We're a subscription. We make no bones about that. It's $4.99 a month, and we do it because we don't have advertising on there or any plug-in, and there's no sponsorships on there. It's just real angling discussion by what I think are real angling people. And you can get it on the internet. It's www.carpradio.com. And away you go. Subscribe and off you go. If you are subscribed, one thing I should say is that any previous shows that are on there, you can obviously dip into them as well.
So you can go back and have a listen.
Yeah, I mean, at the minute there's probably 80 or 90 hours of radio on there for your fiver, so it's worth it, we think.
So if you want to subscribe to Carp Radio, go and have a look at the website.
So I'm joined here by Richard. Richard's managed to winkle himself out of fish this morning. Richard, tell us a little bit about what you've caught.
I had a 14-pound common on a zig this morning, about half hour ago really, just missed it. So
Didn't get round it in time.
No, you didn't. It was alright, good fight.
Happy to catch?
Yeah,
a lot of people are struggling.
Definitely, it's been hard. Has been hard, so it's always nice to get one on the bank.
An enjoyable weekend for you overall?
Yes, it's been brilliant really. Been a really good weekend fishing for the ex-military team. Whatnot, so
brilliant
really
stuff.
Enjoyed it.
Let's hope you can catch a few more.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm sitting here with Adam, Team Army, and your lucky mascot. Not done you any good, has he?
No, he's not done very well this weekend so far, but still plenty of time, couple of hours to go, so yeah, pretty confident.
Well, the fishing has been tough, hasn't it, because of this weather? You're in quite a nice looking swim though, looking at it.
Yeah, it's been quite a hard weekend so far, really, to be honest. I've had fish in front of me. I've tried all sorts of different colours, techniques, and all the rest of it. It's not happening, but
it's one of them, and it's fishing.
Exactly.
Exactly
but
that.
On the other hand, we're here for one more, one better thing, which is obviously the Carping4Heroes event. So, that's what it's all worthwhile coming down.
So, being the Team Army captain, you for one would probably know what this charity really means to people.
Yeah, definitely. This is the fourth, maybe fifth year now that I've done this in a row. The amount of money we raise between everyone that raises every year is unbelievable. And obviously the stuff that Simon does is just truly amazing.
Full power to him, really, isn't it?
Without Simon, then obviously these events wouldn't go ahead.
And the money wouldn't get raised.
No, exactly.
And go to the people who really need it.
Yeah, the people who do need it. Obviously, I've served in regiments where people have been away and done things, and things have happened to them. And this sort of charity that we do, and obviously the Carping4Heroes, the money that goes to them, definitely helps, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's absolutely spot on. And let's hope Lucas pulls his finger out and you catch a fish.
Yeah, well, hopefully we've got a couple more on this lake as well that need to catch. I think if we do that, we've got a chance of winning, or maybe not. But hey, it's not about the winning; it's about the taking part and raising money for charity.
Spot on. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, basically what we're doing here this afternoon in this glorious heat is just having a look at different floater setups and everything else. And I'm here with Andy in the match at the moment, and we're just having a look at how we do things and all the rest. So, type of hook? Is it a mixer? Yeah. Mixer hook, no knotted in. Okay. Now, in terms of comparing how we do things, I totally agree with the hook choice. I've had a stack of fish on those, and the nice wide gape is perfect for surface baits. But I much prefer a little pellet band on there rather than the not the snot. And the reason for that very much is that I actually can't. I won't put the actual pellet on there. But if we just imagine that pellet hairs on there and whatever, when that sits in the water, to get the pellet hanging, floating on the surface, this encourages the line to come down and the hook to point downwards. Yeah. So that if you look at that in a tank or whatever, the hook is down. Yeah. That worries me because I actually want the fish coming up and getting the point of the hook as it turns down rather than coming that way. So if you just hold that for a second, a slight modification that I do is that same pattern of hook, but I've got a flexible bait band on the back of the hook there that's coming up from there, so that I can take either a floater, an artificial, pellet, boilie, whatever, and sit it in the band, and when that is on the surface like that, the hook is actually pointing downwards. So when a fish comes up to that, it's going to get this before it gets to the pellet. Whereas if the no knot tends to make it do that, so that the point is actually
pop up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I just find that slightly more aggressive to do that. Now, for years, I did reverse hairs and all sorts of things tying this, but it was a nightmare. So I've actually found a way of doing these dead easy. So should we just go through actually tying one, right? You either need a mate to help you with this, or you need to go to a cheapy Sunday market type thing where they're selling off daft things that don't work properly, and you want to get yourself a really cheap little vice. This is my one for tying it. I can sit it on my knee in the living room. I can tie 20 or 30 of these up just watching telly. If you haven't got that, then just get one of your mates and just have a pair of normal pliers, because you can hold the hook in the pliers, right? Yeah. So essentially, we want a hook. Now the rules here are barbless, so we'll do a barbless. The bigger the hook, the easier it is to do. So just to show how easy this is, we'll do it with the smallest hook. So we've got a size 12 hook. You need a pellet band. Any make of pellet will do. So we want a pellet. We only need one, but we've got two there. So we need a pellet. The only other thing you need is a needle. Okay, so that's all the kit we need. And you can use all sorts of materials to tie the little hair with, but I just want the finest braid or a decent quality cotton. I want it to be as thin as possible. So I'm just using 0.1 diameter braid, incredibly fine, thin, but it's only going to hold the pellet on. It's not going to do anything else, so it doesn't need to be that strong. So literally, all you do, cut yourself a piece of braid. Length doesn't matter. And this is where your cheapy vice or whatever comes in. You just put the hook in the side of the vice, so that's just stuck out the end like so. As I said, you could, if you sat there with a mate, just hold the hook in the same so the eyes stuck out. Take your piece of braid, take your pellet band, and just double this up so that near enough it's even. Take your hook and just thread both through the eye of the hook and pull them through so the band comes to the hook. Don't need to hold it at that point because it can't fall out or anything else. And then, and this is the clever bit, I just need this on, this is where I sit on the knee in front of the telly doing this. Just take those two strands that are through the eye and bring one to the left of the eye and one to the right, so that it's actually held like that. Okay? Hold those, tie granny knot, simple granny. This is where you need your needle or whatever. stick that in the eye of the granny knot, gently close it, and just roll that all the way down to the eye. Close it off, and take them off. And there you've got a band perfectly trapped in the eye. Now, what I really like about doing it that way is, even if you're fishing at extreme range, you can whack that, but it will never slide down or move out of position because it's actually trapped through the eye. And then, as we did with this one, which one was it? This one. As we had a look at there, that is perfectly held in that eye, and it can't go anywhere. So that no matter what happens, if a fish comes up, sucks it, doesn't get it, flicks it around, ouch. And then literally, even if it lays by the side, once it actually goes in the water, it just drops and just hangs below, and you get that much more aggressive. Now, if you're on pressured waters or where you've got really nervous fish, the number of times you've fed a few, there's one or two feeding, up it comes, there's a massive boil in the water, but nothing's happened. You strike like mad, your controller goes over your head into the bushes, but you've not hit anything. With this, I never strike. Because I know that even if the fish don't get it, it's going to come back to its normal place. Yeah? I just wait until no matter how many swirls I get, I just wait for the controller to start moving. Once it's moving, I know that hook has logged in, and once it's done that, then I'm in business. And I don't mind at all. If I've got 4 or 5 fish feeding there, I don't actually mind if I'm getting swirls and everything. I just wait, just leave it until that controller moves. These days, I never look at the bait. I'm not watching the bait for a bite, I'm watching the controller for a bite. Yeah? So, personally, I would prefer that as a method to the no knot. The no knot's better if you're fishing a zig or something else, because that way the hook's becoming the right way up. But when it's the surface, when it's coming this way with the no knot, the hook's actually the wrong way. Years and years ago for Carp World, I wrote an article. It's actually one of the ones that afterwards, sometimes you write something and you think that's okay. Sometimes you write something and you think that's rubbish. Sometimes you write something and you think I'm really pleased with that. And probably the article I've been most pleased with over the years was one which was called Slip. Now, Slip was a made-up word, and what it actually meant was it stood for the stages that I thought carp went through when they feed. So that you had first catapult out, ignore. They do nothing. They swim underneath, they go backwards and forwards. You keep on feeding it, and eventually, perhaps they might slow and turn, and they might have a look at one. You might get the odd swirl, so you're getting a reaction. Yeah? Then you keep on feeding. Your next stage is they sample round, they come round, and they take the odd one. So they sample them. They get involved with them. Keep on doing it. The next stage is you go on to what I call limited feeding, in that they'd come in and have 5 or 6 and perhaps go out, come back, have 5 or 6. Then after the limited feeding you get increased, where they come in and they stay and they go, 1, where's the next one, where's the next one? And then eventually, if you've got several fish all feeding at once and they're chasing around, you get preoccupation. Now if you can achieve go through Slip and get to preoccupation, then you're on a winner. Because I bet you've done this, and I certainly have, the number of times where you literally can hook a fish and there's still 2 or 3 others all feeding around it. You're playing a fish and they're still feeding because they're so preoccupied on getting every last bait. Hey!
Alex. Alex, Matt, well done, Dad.
Cheers, lad. Yes! Get in there! Come on! So the final hooter has gone. There's been plenty of fish out this morning and lots of action. A very close battle.
So without further ado, let's head over to the marquee and join Simon for the presentations.
Section 1 was won by Lee Sustins and Connor Root. There you go, mate. And a dynamite baits thing. Just pick one up, there you go, buddy. Grab one of them. Section 2 was won by Steve Brown and Matt McKay. There you go, bud. Well done. Take one of them as well, mate. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, mate, no worries. Section 3 was Gareth Stevens and Luke Speller. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go. Take one of them as well, the dynamite things.
Is it the full?
Yeah. Right, section 4. Ian Higgins and Martin Tisdale. There you go, bud. Good. All right. Well done, mate. Grab one of them. That's cool. Section 5. Last year's pairs champions. Anthony Watson, Ash McAvoy. There you go, boy. Another medal.
The whole lot?
No, just yeah.
Steady up.
Section 6, Hayden and Darren Isles. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Darren? No problem. And section 7 was won by Alfie Waters and his partner, Macaulay. Go on.
Thanks, mate.
All right, there you go.
Buddy.
There you go, Macaulay. Yeah, it's official, that, yeah. There you are. Brilliant. Right then, this year we had a new trophy that's sponsored by DNA Baits, and that was the first fish. And that came out, I think it was 11 minutes past 11, and it came out to Alex McKenzie. Alex McKenzie. There you go, mate. So you received that to keep. That to hold up there and need that back at the end. Oh, I don't know. You also get 5k DNA baits, a dovetail fishing games, an atomic tackle package, and one of them.
Thank you very much.
5p. No worries. There you go. Yeah. Give us 5p. Well done, Alex. Okay, biggest fish, sponsored by Atomic Tackle. It goes to Matt McKay, £20 7-ounce common. Well done, Matt. You go, buddy?
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.
That's to keep. Just need at the end after you've done your photos here. So you get a £10 Eric's voucher, a Dovetail Games voucher, Atomic Tackle bag, some XL baits, VNF.
Cool, quality.
And one of these bags. There you go.
Cheers, thank you.
No worries. Well done. Okay, winning pair. With £117 and 13 ounce of the Royal Navy Royal Marines team, Steve Brown and Matt McKay again. Well done. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hang on. And there's that. Well done. And You got one of these each, which has got a tackle, Nash, some Eric's vouchers, I think, and also more dovetail games.
Cheers.
Well done.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Well done. Okay then, so overall individual winner with £65 3 ounces, all on his own. Royal Navy team again, Matt McKay. Hello, Matt. There you go, mate. Yeah.
Excellent, thanks a lot.
Sponsored by Carp. Well, there you go, mate. Hang on. Get that one to take home, yeah?
Oh yeah, excellent.
There you go.
Thanks
So
a
you
lot.
might want to put them down because you've got more stuff. Yeah. Again, more XL baits.
Excellent, cheers.
Another £10 Eric's and atomic tackle. Another dovetail game. Well done.
Thanks you.
And one of them bags, and that's for you and Steve, but it's got t-shirts in it as well.
Yeah, okay, cheers.
Okay,
Excellent.
no worries.
Come back for a minute.
So, well done, Matt. Okay, so that is obviously the winning team, the Royal Navy, Royal Marines. 64 points and £177 8 ounce. There you go, mate. I'll just get you over there now. There you go, buddy. No worries. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done.
Cheers.
All right. There you go.
All right, cheers,
No worries, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
There you go.
Thanks very much.
There you go.
Thanks.
Cheers. There you go, matey. There you go. There you go.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
You need a new cupboard. There, you got one missing, have you?
Yeah.
Has he gone? Or
He didn't
didn't
turn
turn up? Okay, mate. So, there you go. There's a trophy taken over from the RAF, the Royal Navy, Royal Marines table. Well done. The match element, anyway, does, you know, it does require 1 or 2 people to kind of marshal it and look after it. So I want to bring forward Ollie, Carrot and Steph and give them a big round of applause. Let me give them that. All right. Well done, Carrot. No worries. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, lads. Make it all worth it.
So obviously, for the last 4 years, we've been coming here to Manor Farm, and this is the owner, Sue Warboys. So I want a big round of applause for Sue for letting us come here. Thank you, Sue. And
On behalf of the RF Carp Fishing, yeah, thanks for all your...
Thank you, yes.
there we go. Nice one, guys. Well done. Lovely. There you go. No worries. That's great. So, obviously, the reason why we was here all weekend, guys, was to raise money. Okay, that was the idea of the weekend. The fishing's just a cover. Okay, it's just a great big social, and we want to raise money. All right, and counting up what we took cash, and on the Just Giving, just to make you all aware that on the Just Giving, the team, which only had 27 anglers, that raised £5,188 alone. Okay, so well done. Now, I know that Stuart Thurston on Friday night got the overall individual sponsor, which he's still entitled to because he raised 900 quid. However, there were a number of people within that group that raised £400 plus. Okay, so they also deserve a round of applause, guys, so thank you. So, totting up what we took cash, obviously there's the auction prizes to pay for, there's the Just Giving and online stuff that has been donated, and we are looking at £14,000, which is amazing. Well done, guys. So all I've got to say now is thank you I hope you had a good weekend and drive safely. Cheers guys, thank you.